I was just talking to a friend of mine who's a UX designer and is worried about the recession. And she said, will I get a job? What do I do? And I wanted to share with you what I told her. In this video, I'm going to share with you a more productive way to think about the recession, and then 3 specific things that you can do to get a job in the next 3 to 6 months. So the first thing is, I get it. There's a recession. It's scary. Will we have job security? Will I be able to grow in my career? And these are all of the things that I talked to my friend about. But the truth is, nobody controls how long the recession is going to be, the impact that it has. We don't control it. So the first thing I told my friend is, let's first make a decision that we're only going to focus on the things that we have control over, right? And that has to do with your own candidacy and, frankly, with where you put your attention. Because if you think about it, if you're constantly reading articles about the recession, about the doom and gloom, about what is going to happen to the job market, then you're unintentionally putting yourself in this loop of negativity that is not going to allow you to have the energy required to actually conduct a successful job search. So the first thing is, let's decide to focus our attention on what we actually can control. The first thing that I want you to do is to focus on low-hanging fruit. What do I mean by that? So most people, when we are looking for a job, what we'll do is we'll go to LinkedIn and we're looking for jobs, and then maybe we find something, and then we apply as an anonymous applicant from the internet. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that because there's no warmth. Those people don't know you, and the likelihood of you succeeding and just coldly applying and getting a job is very low. So what do we do instead? There are 2 ways to focus on low-hanging fruit. The first one is, I want you to ask yourself, who is in my network and who can I reach out to? Now, I know network and networking are like big words that get thrown around. And frankly, when I first heard it, I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. What even is a network? So a network is any human that you know who has a job or has had a job, or knows somebody who has a job or has had a job. Literally, former colleagues, current colleagues, your friends, people you went to college with, your parents' friends, former lovers, literally any acquaintances, people that you've socialized with, literally anybody that you know. So what I want you to do is I want you to go on a stalking mission on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whichever social networks you use, LinkedIn, and say, okay, let me think about the people that I went to high school with. Who do I know? And like find them and, oh, look at this. They work at this company. Where have they worked before? Because suddenly the places where your network has worked now become available to you. Not directly, but you can have a conversation with your high school buddy about, hey, what was it like working there? By the way, do you still know somebody who works there who you'd be willing to connect me to? I want to learn about that company. So suddenly you've created an interview for yourself. So that is what using your network looks like. So that is the first thing of low-hanging fruit. Now, the second thing with low-hanging fruit is I want you to focus on the city that you live in. Now, I know we all want to work remotely. Remote work is amazing. However, in a more competitive market, which is what this is in a recession, what you want to do is leverage every competitive advantage that you have. And your location is a competitive advantage. Because while it's true that with the pandemic, a lot of companies have gone remote, it is also true that the world is lagging. So a lot of companies might not be fully remote. They're doing hybrid work. Or even if they are remote, they like it if their employees are nearby and live in the same city or in the same state. So I want you to use that to your advantage. How do you do that? I want you to go on Google and then find top tech companies to work for in your city. Perhaps use Built-in, which is a website for tech startups, Built-in and the name of your city, so that you find the companies that are close to you. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go to these companies' websites and see if they're hiring. But wouldn't I know that already? Maybe not. Not all companies post on LinkedIn. Maybe they're posting on Indeed or Idealist, or maybe they just have it on their company website. So you find out companies that might be hiring that you perhaps didn't know about. Now, what happens if these companies aren't hiring? That's fine. Then what I want you to do is to lay the groundwork for the next 3 to 6 months. What do I mean by that? Maybe they're not hiring now, but they might be hiring 3 to 6 months down the line. So what I want you to do is look at these companies and ask yourself, which of these companies do I like the most? Which of these companies seem interesting to me? Which of these companies might I be a good fit for? And choose those companies and then reach out to people who work at those companies so you can ask them about what it's like working there, what the team is like, what the product is like. And then you can build that connection so that when a job posting becomes available, you can then reach out again and have a warm application. So that's the first thing that I want you to do with low-hanging fruit. Leverage what you already have. Leverage your location and leverage your existing network. Cool. The second thing I want you to do is focus on becoming the most competitive candidate you can be. So this has to do with skill development. Ask yourself an honest question and say, okay, what am I missing in my UX portfolio? Maybe you've gotten feedback that you haven't worked with developers already, or maybe you've gotten feedback that you need to hand over a project, or maybe they want to see how you interact with other designers. So do an honest assessment of what's missing in my experience. Maybe you're not that proficient in Figma yet. So these are areas of opportunities, and you can then craft a project that is going to get you to become the designer that you want to be. If you don't know, go to Amazing Design People list, ADP list, and book a call with a mentor and ask them this question. Say, I've done A, B, and C. I want to make myself more competitive. Which areas do you recommend I prioritize? What would make me a more competitive candidate? Once you know what you need to work on, then you're going to go get a real life project. This could be volunteer, this could be freelance, but what matters is that you get that project on your portfolio and on your LinkedIn. Why? Let's think about how hiring managers make hiring decisions. They want you to have the skills, and also they're going to look at your past to say, show me that you've worked at another organization and that you can do the work. So when it comes to evaluating experiences, what's the number one barrier that UX designers face when they're looking for a job? Junior UX designers? Oh, sorry, you don't have enough experience. So that is the number one thing that I want you to be focusing on as you're doing your job search. Get more real life projects and internships under your belt. And once you know that, go find a project to do that. Now, there's many ways to develop your skills. There's the daily UI challenge, a daily UX challenge. You could join a hackathon. My top priority and my highest recommendation is that you actually go work for a company, do volunteer work. Now, you might be wondering, Karen, how do I do this? There's a lot of websites that actually help you do this. UX Rescue, Volunteer Match, Catch a Fire, and you can even Google Summer UX Design Internships. Bonus points. If you already know what industry you want to work in, then look for companies in that field. Why? Because then when you go to a healthcare company and you apply for a UX designer role, you could say, hey, I'm a great candidate for this role. In fact, for the past 3 months, I've been working at this other healthcare company, right? So you're making yourself more competitive for the specific preferences that you have. And the third thing that I want you to do is I want you to take a hard, honest look in the mirror at your marketing materials and ask yourself, are they the most competitive that they can be? What do I mean by marketing materials? Your LinkedIn, your resume, and especially your portfolio. When you look at them, do you go, wow, I've done amazing work. I sound really impressive. Now, I know that that might seem really self-centered, but it's actually that level of emotional reaction to your portfolio, your resume, and your LinkedIn that is going to get you to stand out from like the sea of anonymous internet applicants. So are you communicating your experience in the most compelling way possible? And this is actually really simple to do. So there's 2 tricks for this. 1, forget that it's your experience. Forget that it's you and all of the love that you have for yourself. And just coldly read your resume, read your LinkedIn, and ask yourself, would I call this person in for an interview? And if you're like, that's a sign that there's a lot of opportunities for growth. Getting hired during a recession doesn't necessarily have to be more difficult, especially not if you have an amazing and compelling LinkedIn profile, and if you have a bulletproof cover letter that is going to get the hiring manager's attention and is going to get you an interview. And if you're looking to upgrade your UX skills, feel free to take this free course that you can see listed down below at springboard.com.